Hi, welcome back to the Self-Actualization in the Age of Crisis Chapter Summary Series. I'm your host, Ron Rivers, and today we're going to be discussing Chapter 2, subsection Letting Go. So, letting go is part of the chapter Authentic Imposter, the section. And really, what it's about is letting go of the things, people, and circumstances that do not serve us. And I want to be clear from the onset. This is not a call to prioritize relationships where we subjugate others to elevate ourselves or where we purely are extractive in our relationships. Absolutely not. But what it is a call to is to recognize our time sense, our time experience, to recognize and acknowledge that we inhabit a universe governed by the single truth in the relational universe, and recognize that when we direct our focus and energy towards things that are out of alignment with our vision, we spend time further becoming those things. Now, the ideal circumstance for any human being is to focus the maximum amount of focus and energy in really time moments towards the things that we desire to do, right? The creation that we desire to give life into the universe. But many of us don't have that option, right? We're stuck doing things that really, we are forced to do. So, for example, we work a job we don't like because we need to eat, and that's just part of the nature of being and the circumstances we inhabit within the immediate present. So I also want to emphasize, like as we kind of go through this, that not everything is going to be able to be let go of immediately. However, the further we kind of trim the fat, so to speak, of the things that misalign with our vision of the good, the more powerful we become, and over time supports the total recreation of ourselves, right? The resurrection in our own image, if you will. So letting go can really be compartmentalized into two specific categories, right? Letting go of things that do not serve us in aligning our vision, and letting go of things that do serve us and things we love. So in regards to the things that don't serve us, it's pretty straightforward. A lot of times when we want to leave something behind, we want to quit something. Let's say it's a bad habit, for example. Let's say I vape a nicotine pen, and it does irreparable harm to my body. It's terrible. It addicts me, but I think it's cool. It's got flavors, right? Whatever. Many times we try to remove ourselves from something by weaning ourselves off of it, right? We take this slow and steady pace. But through the lens of the single truth in the relational universe, we understand that to be the incorrect approach. Any time spent directing our focus and energy towards a thing is time spent becoming that thing. So if we're serious about ditching a bad habit, getting rid of a person who is negative or doesn't bring positive influence in our life, or getting out of a circumstance, let's say a job that we hate that diminishes our soul, we want to do spend as much time as possible focusing on alternative directions. Okay, so any time when we kind of wean ourselves off of things, it is still time spent becoming it. It's not quitting, it's actually becoming more of it. So in all possible circumstances where your survival is not threatened by it, you want to quit immediately, and then take that same time that you would be doing those things and redirect that focus and energy towards something else. Ultimately, we want to eliminate the unnecessary in all forms. And I want to be clear, unnecessary doesn't mean we get rid of all entertainment or fun. Those are necessary things, right? There's a chapter in the book called The Joy of Novelty, which we'll get into later. But there are things that detract from our vision, right? We have a specific place we want to go, a specific person we want to become. And in every moment, there's these infinite choices we can make about things to do. So there are things that are better to do than others. So when we find ourselves doing the other things, that's a recognition, A, to exercise our core value of awareness and be aware of it, and B, to have the courage and exercise that core value to redirect our focus energy within the moment. There's also letting go of things you love, and I've shared this example in previous summary videos, but just real briefly, I had a 25-year grappling career. I started wrestling when I was like 12, and trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu up until I was like 35. And long story short, I had to give it up for some nagging injuries in combination with COVID, in combination with a young child. It just became much less of a priority. Now, it hurt to give it up. It had been a very deep part of my identity, my being, my life. The people I met were like a second family to me in many different directions. But at the same time, change is the single truth. And as I grew older, as I matured, as my visions, as my focuses changed, so did my priorities. And sometimes letting go sucks. It's stuff we don't want to do. But ultimately, again, I encourage you to always keep in mind who you are becoming, and having the precision to direct your focus and energy in a way that maximizes that. So you act as an authentic imposter, right? You recognize you don't know what you don't know, but you perpetually become more instead of denying it or ignoring it as an inauthentic imposter. Ultimately, again, I want to express letting go is about expressing our divinity in the moment, right? Aligning the external infinity, the universe itself, with the internal infinity, our individual imagination, to express our powers of creation and our divinity in the moment.